Hello, Gary Crowley here with DoItYourselfJointPainRelief.com, and in this segment I'm going to teach you how to release what I call the front of your back, specifically the muscles on either side of your body. One basically here that hugs your hip bone on the inside, which is called your iliacus, and another called your psoas, which runs down the front side of both sides of your spine. So you get your iliacus muscles, you got your psoas muscles, and when they're tight, they literally make the front of your back, and all the vertebra and all the hip bones that they attach to, they make them tight. So if we release them, it can help relieve or eliminate your back pain. This segment is intended as a supplement to the main pages on this site, where I basically guide you through the 3 basic steps to release 95% of the time the issue that is causing your joint pain, whether it's your back or your hip, or I even recommend you release this for things like your Achilles and your ankle, because these nerves that start up here end up down there and can be causing that pain. So you can do this first, or you can go to the main page for your joint issue, do steps 1, 2, and 3, and then come back here. Either way. So let's get to it. So again, your iliacus muscle hugs the inside of this hip bone, and your psoas runs down the front side of your spine, starts way up here, hooks into your inner to the top of your femur, your leg bone. So it's a big, long, strong muscle. It's the filet mignon in a cow, and so it's a big rope of a muscle, and we just want that along with the iliacus nice and loose. So to get at this, we are gonna lay down on our backs, and I'm gonna zoom in here to get a little better shot for you. But what we want to do is you want to feel in here for your hip bone, and if you're wearing a belt, you might want to lose your belt, and you might even unbutton your top button here so you can get your hands in there. But if your knees are up and your feet are flat, you can feel right here. You can just dig your hand right inside to that hip bone. Even if you got a little extra padding there, you can usually tuck on the inside of that hip bone. And once you're in there and you feel around, all the way from the top on the inside, all the way down to where you start to basically hit what you consider your pubic bone, you'll feel whether it's tender or not. And again, this is muscle just like any other muscle, and if it's tender, it means it's too tight. And so what you want to do is you want to poke in there, and the best way for me, I've found, to get in there is to find the tender spot, but then use what I call the hand-on-hand technique. Now, for the other parts of the body, I'm having you press directly on your fingertips to get more pressure. Here, because of the angle you kind of have to almost grab the top of your hand here and press down, still adding pressure with more pressure to your fingertips, but it's a little different angle. So if I were to do this, I'm on the inside of my pelvis, my fingertips are on that tender spot going that way, and then I'm just going to press on my hand. So this hand is busy being nice and rigid and firm so that it can get to the tissue, and this hand is kind of doing the pressing. Now when you do that, you'll feel it's tender, and then we're just going to do the press, pull, release technique. Press, pull, release, press, pull, release. You know, you can open your leg a little bit if it helps you get in there. You can turn it a little bit. Sometimes you can cross it over. That opens that up for some people a little bit. Everyone's a little different because it depends on the angle you're going in at. It depends how strong you are. It depends a little bit on your hip structure. And so you're just getting in there and you're releasing your press, pull, release, press, pull, release, press, pull, release. I don't find the press, hold, move is really that beneficial with this, because this muscle will just gets a little too tight to get in there. So you just take your time, press, pull, release, switch it up, do the other side. Find that hip bone, the inside of the hip bone, and then you're just gonna, now I can do it with one hand, but it just doesn't, I mean, boy, that, I can even almost grab my wrist in the top of my hand. That just gives me all the pressure I need. It's gentle, but it's strong, and that's what you want. And again, you're only working as deeply as you can relax into here, and when it stops being tender, it means it's released. And you're basically going all the way, here's my hip bone, here's the very top of my hip bone, but I'm going here, 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 all the way down to basically where I start running into what I consider my pubic bone.
So that's your iliacus release. Now your psoas, again, runs up the either side of your spine here, and I'm going to do similar thing. I'm going to start, except I'm going to start basically down kind of a little above my pubic bone, just slightly over to, you know, the side of where, you know, my midline would be. And I'm going to feel in here, and actually for this, I found if you tuck your tailbone just a little bit, push into your feet a little bit, your abs have to be relaxed for you to get in here. But again, I got my fingertips in there, and then I'm pressing on my hand to get the pressure that I need. And again, just a little. Let's see, I can do press, hold, move a little bit, where I'm just pressing on that tender spot, raising and lowering my tailbone without engaging my abs. If you engage your abs, you'll push yourself out and you won't get any release. But you're just gently pressing in here, and yes, you are pressing through a couple layers of intestines, so you know, you don't want to barrel in here, but you can feel, if you gently press in there, you can feel through them, that muscle will be tight. And if you do a little press, hold, move, or you can do press, pull, release. I actually like, if I do a little press, hold, move, just rocking that tailbone up and down a bit, I can feel that muscle moving under my fingertips. And that's a nice way with the psoas. I find that actually works better at releasing the psoas. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do it on the other side, same thing. I'll probably do both iliacus muscles first, and then I'll do the psoas muscles one after the other. So I tend to do the iliacus first and the psoas second. But when these are released, then all those vertebrae and your hip bones are a little more able to lay the way they want to be naturally, and so they can function optimally. And sometimes this alone will help your back problem if your main issue was your iliacus or your psoas, especially on your right side if you drive way too much. Sometimes this gas pedal side gets really tight. But for everyone else where this didn't just fix everything, then you want to go to the main either low back page or hip page or whatever the zone is where I'm having you work on your hips, and do steps 1, 2, and 3 to make sure you did everything that might be causing your joint pain. So that is the front of your back release. So I look forward to hearing how it goes, and thank you for your time. I appreciate it.